Just one more day to go before the Stampede kicks off officially, and that means politicians of all stripes will be heading out and about trying to win some votes. Among those trying to make an impression, Maxime Bernier, the leader of the newly formed People's Party of Canada. Bernier will be hosting a pancake breakfast on July 7th. Joining us to talk more about it is Danielle Smith from Global News Radio 770 CHQR. Good morning, Danielle. It smells like there's an election coming up in October.
Indeed, there is. Everybody is going to be congregating in Calgary on this week. Even those who have, especially like when you look at our provincial legislature, they were hoping to get their business done, but they needed to get it done to take a break to come to Calgary, and then they're going to go back and do their business to finish things up after it's over. This is the primo weekend for all things political. Most of the big political functions happen this weekend. The big pancake breakfasts and barbecues. Andrew Scheer has his event on Saturday night. Maxime Bernier has his event on Sunday, and he's also going to then be spreading out throughout the rest of the province. I think he's here until July 12th, doing a variety of rallies and candidate announcements. And so for him, he's always characterized himself going to be funny to see him doing separate events, because I always used to bump into him at the conservative events, but now that he's a leader of his own party, we'll see what kind of turnout he gets. He's always characterized himself as the Albertan from Quebec, because he has so many attitudes that are really in sync with Albertans, and Quebec and Alberta tend to disagree on more issues than they agree on. So he's a bit of an anomaly in his own province. That being said, looked at a poll yesterday. It does not look like the People's Party is enjoying any kind of upsurge. When we talk about upsurge and upstart parties, most of the conversation is centered around the Greens. But I would imagine that if he's trying to make a breakthrough anywhere, it would be in his home province, where he'll be running, as well as in Alberta. So I want to keep an eye on what kind of turnout he gets at his events.
Do you think he and the People's Party of Canada can make an impression this election?
It's really difficult. I mean, I want to talk to him today about the secular law, Bill 21 in Quebec, because I did a segment on it yesterday. And it's quite interesting to see that no political leader is expressing the kind of outrage that you would expect them to express over this. A ban on all religious symbols, clear violation of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It'll have constitutional challenges. It targets minority groups. I mean, it's the most anti-Canadian bill you can imagine having. And yet the federal politicians don't seem keen to make it into an election issue. And I think part of the reason for that is because it's a popular bill in Quebec. And so that is why I think Maxime Bernier has a very interesting perspective, because he'll have no problem taking a position on this, because he has taken a position, but it's kind of alienating to take that view in English Canada. I don't think that there's any English premier who is contemplating following down the same track. So in some ways, it may be something that he is able to try to garner some support in Quebec, but there's some peril that he might lose votes outside of Quebec in doing so. So I'll probably want to talk that through a little bit with him too.
Very interesting. Danielle, thanks for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You can listen to Danielle's show at 9:30 today on Global News Radio.